Thank you, Clyde. There are quite a few exciting things happening on the North Carolina Research Campus here. Now let's introduce two of the visionaries behind P2EP. Dr. Mary Ann Lila from the Plants for Human Health Institute at North Carolina State University, and Dr. Corey Brower from the Bioinformatics Services Division at UNC Charlotte, as they provide an overview for this program. Please welcome Dr. Lila and Dr. Brower.
Okay, so welcome to our third annual, end of the third intensive summer of work in the Plant Pathways Elucidation Project, and the second annual Research Symposium, which showcases all the hard work that's been done by our principal investigators, our wonderful PhD students, and all of the undergraduate interns that have been part of this program. The Plant Pathways Elucidation Project was dreamed up, I guess, brainstormed back in the fall of 2012, where we were together, our work with UNC Charlotte, NCSU, and a number of other principals on this campus, trying to figure out what can we do to take advantage of the resources that we have on this unique campus. What can we do to bring us all together in a single program that can really make use of the fantastic opportunities that we have on this campus, the resources, and just how can we do it? And so we came up with an idea to have a program that could answer three simple questions. What does a plant make? What are the chemicals that a plant makes? What are the pathways by which that plant makes these active phytochemicals or other products in the plant? And then what good are these products for human health? Because this whole campus is all about health. This is the whole premise of the campus being here. These sound like three very simple questions, and they're not simple at all. They are very complicated questions. There's no way to even begin to approach how these questions make sense for breeding and creation of new and better plants for human health, unless we have a team dynamics approach. And that's what we put together, is a program that would take advantage of team dynamics. So we started off in the very launch of this program with 4 PhD students that were provided to us through a very generous grant from the from UNC General Administration that got us going. And now we're up to 8 PhD students, because we've added on more, and 8 principal investigators, all working intensely on different economically important crops. And what do they make? How do they make it? What good are their components for human health? We are actually, excitingly, adding on 2 to 3 more PhD students now. The job descriptions are already written. And I want to welcome, since they're here, our guests from Costa Rica, who are going to be working with us to add on to our program, first a banana PhD student who will take on this other new economically important crop and kind of meld into the program that's on now. So we're going to be partnering with them to bring one of their brightest, best students from Costa Rica on board, hopefully by the end of this year, if possible, or the beginning of next year, to join into the P2EP students. So this is very exciting. Each of our PhD students is surrounded by a team of at least 3 to 4 undergraduate interns. This is what empowers our PhD students. It's so much more than a student sitting at their lab bench doing research and then telling their advisor at the end of 2 years, well, here's what I did. And the advisor says, you did it all wrong, sorry, got to go back and start again. This is an intensive situation where the PhD student actually has some leadership with undergraduate interns around them to really bounce ideas, think of new ways of doing things, and put it all together. And Duke Energy Foundation was so generous in bringing funding together to get these undergraduate interns on board. And so repeatedly we've had, so much requests for the undergraduate interns from all over the state of North Carolina and even beyond North Carolina to join us in this program. So our leadership team is UNC Charlotte, North Carolina State University, UNC General Administration, Castle and Cook, the DHMRI, the nonprofit institute that's here in the core lab, and Dole and General Mills. So all of us together, industry, public-private, industry and academia, public and private partnerships, have all come together under this unique premise of how can we use genomic tools, intensive genomic tools, and the wonderful instrumentation that we have on this campus as building blocks for intensive, rapid gains in productivity and health benefits for crops. And this has generated terabytes of data. And when we talk about data, I turn it over to my partner who knows a lot more about data than I do, Corey Brower.
So really the way that we've structured this program, we like to think about it as like a three-legged stool. Each of these components of the program are absolutely essential for the success of the program. And these three legs are basically the science that Marianne has already talked about, the educational opportunities that the program provides, and the knowledge base, what we're doing with all of the data that's being generated by this program. And so as far as the educational aspects, Marianne talked about it a little bit, but really what we wanted to do is educating the next generation is absolutely essential. And we were thinking about this, and too often undergraduates don't really get the opportunities to fully understand what research is all about. They sit in big lecture halls, listen to their professors, speak to them, know that in the background they're doing some research, but don't really understand what that's all about. This program gives 30 to 40 undergraduates an opportunity to experience research firsthand each summer. And they get to do it in a fairly unique environment. Not only do they get to experience what it's like to work in a wet lab, they get experience doing bioinformatics, and they also get professional development opportunities that we offer throughout the summer. They get to learn and get experience doing public speaking, which you'll see and hear from them today in some of, as they tell you about their projects that they've done this summer. They also get opportunities to find out what's involved in applying to graduate school for those that really find out that they enjoy research and want to continue this as a career. We show them what it's like or what's involved in applying to graduate school. So these are some of the professional opportunities that they get through this program. But it's not just an educational opportunity for undergraduates, too. It's a unique opportunity for our PhD students. Too often when PhD students go through a program, they get fantastic experience doing the research in the lab that is part of their program. But they don't know what's involved when they leave that program, how to operate a lab, what it means to manage a project, what it means to manage resources, things of that nature. Through this program, we've set it up so that each PhD student is a mentor to the undergraduates. So they get to learn and understand what it's really like to develop a project where you also have to manage those that are working with you. And this is a unique experience that the PhD students get to have through this program. The other unique experience that the students get is basically something that's very important, because the fact of the matter is that maybe only 5% of PhD students will actually get a position in academia on a faculty. So what happens to the rest of them? Well, they get successful careers in industry, but many of them going through their academic programs have no idea what that really means. Here, because of this private partner collaboration that we have here, our PhD students get exposure to industry researchers as well and get to see what it's like to work in industry and in academia. And so we are providing the most well-rounded students we can through this program. And that's why the educational component of it is so important. The third leg of the stool that we have here is the knowledge base aspect of it. As Marianne mentioned, we are developing and producing terabytes of data through this program. The genomic resources, the sequence that's been produced, the other aspects and results from the data that's being produced from instruments like NMR and mass spec. What do we do with all that data? How do we organize it? How do we make sense of that data? Fortunately, that's one of the areas that my group specializes in the bioinformatics group. And this component of the program, we take that data and structure it and organize it in a knowledge base so that it's actually understandable by a computer. Now, what does that mean? If you've ever gone onto Google and searched for something, you get documents back. You get places to go where you can read about maybe something that's related to what you're interested in. Compare that to something like Siri or some of the other interaction devices that we have on our phone now. You can ask Siri a question like, what was the score of the Yankees game yesterday? It understands that the Yankees are a baseball team. It understands the concept of dates and that you're talking about yesterday. And it knows, because of the way the knowledge is structured and a knowledge base behind that, that you want the score from yesterday's game. This is what we're talking about when we structure knowledge in such a way that it's computer readable. And that's what we're doing with the research knowledge that is being produced within this program. We're taking knowledge from the literature that's been produced over the past 100 years, the knowledge that we have about plants and nutrition, mining that information, putting that into the knowledge base, and combining that with the information that's being generated through this program. And you'll get an opportunity through some of the talks that you'll hear in just a few minutes, more information about that to get a better understanding, along with the posters that are in the other room that I hope you all take some time and talk with our students and find more about. So those are the three legs, basically, of this program. And together, through this collaboration and the opportunities that we have on this campus, have really led to what has been a very successful program and something that's been very exciting to be a part of. And I thank you all for coming today. I hope you learn a lot. I hope that you enjoy the program today, and thank you for coming.